Why is margin so important? Back to the serious stuff. And the last question.
Last question of the session. Margin. What is margin, first of all, mate?
Margin, that's a very good question. So a very simple way to explain margin is what you can sell your product or service for versus what it costs to create that product or service.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Difference between selling price and what it's cost you to make or buy the product.
And what's so important to get it right is that if you get it wrong, you won't have any money, you won't have any profit. So it's something that we see people, sometimes they'll set a really good margin for, say, good, and then they'll carry on, and then things will creep in that decrease that margin, and then because they've had no real reporting around it or thought about it, they start to make less money, and they go, why am I not making any money? And then simply sometimes you go back to the margin and they've got no idea that it's decreased. And a slight decrease in margin can cause a big problem.
The margin, your gross profit, is what's left to cover your overheads, and if you're not spitting out enough to cover your overheads, there's some big problems there.
Yeah. So keeping an eye on your margin is obviously very important. That's where something like Xero comes in handy, where it now gives you your margin. So I guess to start,
that's a really good point. Just on that, on your dashboard, there's the KPIs. You can have some data showing up on the top right of your dashboard. Xero's really good at giving access to data. If you haven't done it, add gross profit there. It's a good one to monitor.
Yeah. And then even setting a net profit percentage that you're trying to achieve or work to. Yeah, but that gross one is obviously very important to get right, especially if you're in goods or manufacturing.
Totally.
So like we said before, if you don't get it right, that's where you can see a lot of problems, and people become reactive to it and instead of trying to maintain a set margin. And one thing we can probably get into another time, because we've cracked past the 2 minutes here, is actually figuring out what you want in terms of profit, and then what service you're selling or good, and then how you're going to build your pricing back to get to that position with the right market margins.
Hey.
There we go. But that's for another day.